You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.
Welcome to the Hot Options Report, your premier source for insight into the fast-moving options market. Each day, we'll track down the products that are dominating the options chains and impacting your trading account, from NVIDIA to VIX and everything in between. If it's lighting up the options tape, then you'll find it on the Hot Options Report.
All right, everybody, that music means it is time for another edition of the Hot Options Report for Monday, November 3rd. Hope everyone had a great and a spooky Halloween weekend. Is your trading week off to a spooky start? Let's find out. My name, of course, Mark Longo from theoptionsinsider.com. Reminding you at the top of the show that make sure you're subscribed to the full network wherever you get your favorite podcast. And if you're ready to go crazy and have a good time, theoptionsinsider.com/pro is the place to go. And we got a fun new wrinkle on the show for you this week. We're always talking about the data. We're always crunching the numbers for you. Now you folks can play along for yourselves with the home game version of the Hot Options Report. Where else? TheHotOptionsReport.com. Go there right now as you're listening to the show. That will get you all the data we're talking about on the show. And quite frankly, a whole heck of a lot more. All for free, courtesy of our friends over there at QuikOptions. They are bringing you the data for the show here. So get on over there. While you're there, maybe sign up for their alpha. Get in while it's free. It's a good opportunity. Literally all the data you can handle in the world of options and then some. So check it out. TheHotOptionsReport.com, the place to go to learn more as we learn what's going on in the options market today. Bit of a mixed bag yet again. The Dow selling off about 0.5%, S&P up about almost 0.2%, and the NASDAQ up almost 0.5%. VIX cash giving up the ghost a little bit, off a little over a third of a point, coming in at the end of the day, right around 17.17 in the cash. That is where we will begin our journey this week. VIX putting up 564,000 contracts, so another light day. The ADV is 920,000 contracts, and yet VIX not really getting out of bed these days. The hot option out there, just a tick under 30,000 of the DEES 18 puts. Average price for these, $1.26. These are kind of an interesting one, so we put it out to you folks today. Again, another reason to follow us over there at Options on Twitter/X. A lot of fun flash polls coming at you throughout the day, as well as, of course, great content there. We said, hey, you like these? Are you a buyer at that price or sold to you? Right now, 56.3% of you saying sold to you, 43.8% want to buy those DEES 18 puts and VIX. As we keep on rolling out to SPY. SPY coming in at the end of the day, listeners, like we said, gaining nearly 0.2%. 683.34 is where it went out. Putting up 9.2 million contracts today, so a respectable day. The ADV right around 9.6 million. Not quite getting there, but pretty darn close. The hot option, almost exactly 600,000 of the 683 calls. Average price for these, 95 cents. So you obviously had opportunities to get rid of these intraday if you did buy them at that average price. And as we keep on rolling out to the SPX, the S putting up nearly 3.75 million, about 3.71 million. If that sounds light, it's because it is. The ADV is right around 4.4 million. So coming in nearly 700,000 contracts light in the SPX today. The S going out 68.51.97. It's just a tick below 68.52. And it was the 68.60 calls, listeners, that were dominating the tape out there today. Average price for these, $4.68. They were not giving these away, listeners. Interesting day out there in the S as we keep on rolling out to small caps. Small caps have been on fire of late. They gave up about 0.33% to the downside today, but they put up some numbers pretty much right at their ADV of 1.75 million contract, which in and of itself is pretty high. Normally, small caps can't maintain an ADV this high, but what we're seeing out there today. Closing right around 245.40 in the small caps, and the hot option out there, 128,000 of the November 233 puts. So once again, going back out to the Nov expiration. Average price for these, $1.65. Let's keep rolling to the Qs. The Qs closing today up, like we said, almost 0.5%. Right around 632 is where the Qs went out today, putting up 4.2 million against an ADV of about 4.9 million. So coming in about 700,000 contracts light in the Qs as well. The hot option out there, about 212,000 of these 633 calls. So $1 out of the money calls. Average price for these, 88 cents. Another one, it looks like if you rode them through the close, maybe you had a rough day out there. Was it a rough day in the single name equity options world, listeners? The answer was, yeah, it wasn't great. It started off decent on the Option Block show earlier today, but we didn't really get that second leg of volume on the second half of the session. Cost you only 433,000 contracts at the end of the day to break into the top 10. That gets us to a new friend. This is Cipher, CIFR, listeners. This is short for Cipher Mining out there, so a Bitcoin crypto mining operation out there. Popping today, $22.76, up a little over $4, or about 22%. So a good day for them. And what was the hot option on a very hot day in Cipher? Its introductory appearance in our top 10 here. Nearly 22,000 of the 25 calls. Average price for these, nearly $1. So again, you got to sniff a 26 handle by the end of the week, listeners, in order for these bad boys to remain relevant. We got close to it today. 25.11 was the high, so obviously those 25s looking a lot better then than they are right now. Can Cipher turn it around by the end of the week? We shall keep an eye on it as we keep on rolling to number 9. It's our old pal Grab, a.k.a. Grab Holdings. Haven't talked about them in a while. Coming in today, $6.07, up about 7 cents, or about 1%. It was kind of an interesting day out there. Not a huge underlying day, but decent volume for them, 452,000. They do have earnings after the bell tonight, so that was obviously driving a lot of the flow out there in Cipher. Cipher, of course, coming in after their announcement. Grab putting up, again, 452,000 contracts. The hot option out there today, 108,000 of the 6.5 calls expiring in November. Average price for these, about 22 cents. Let's go take a quick gander at Grab in the after hours, shall we? Looks like the stock is pretty much unched in the after hours right now. They popped up to about 614, and that's pretty much it. So not looking great for those 6.5s, but then again, we have the rest of the week for that to play out. As we keep on rolling to number 8, it's our old pal SoFi. Again, been vacillating around this 30 handle for a while, popping back north of it and south of it today before closing up about $1, $30.63. 519,000 contracts changing hands in SoFi today, listeners. The hot option out there, about 36,000 of the 30 calls expiring this Friday. Average price for these, $1.09, listeners. So SoFi needs to keep the party going out here, listeners, in order for these bad boys to make some money, if you did indeed buy them. As we keep on rolling to number 7, this has been a wild one of late. It's our old pal Beyond Meat, closing today $1.39, off about 26 cents or 16%. So not a great day to go Beyond Meat, putting up 522,000 contracts today for the number 7 spot. What was the hot option in Beyond today? It was the one puts expiring this Friday, going up 61,000 times. Average price for these, again, they're pretty far out of the money, so only 3 cents. So maybe that sounds like a cheap flyer to you. Maybe you're saying that's a free 3 cents, in which case sold to you. I'd be cautious in selling sub-nickel options, but hey, you do you. Number 7, Beyond, listeners. As we keep on going to number 6, Apple. 268.84 is where it went out, selling off about $1.50 or about 0.5%. So a rare red day of late in Apple. 656,000 contracts on the tape out there today. The hot option, 50,000 of the 270s expiring this Friday. Average price for these, about $2.07. So you know the drill. Apple needs to turn it around and close north of the 270 handle. At the very least, get there intra-week to make these 270s look good. As we keep on rolling to number 5, it's Meta. Meta continuing their slide to the dark side, closing today, 637.71, off about 10 2/3 or about 1 2/3%. So yet another day in the red for Meta on the heels of some pretty dire earnings recently, putting up nearly 800,000 contracts today in the hot option out there. 22,000 of these 6 halves, 650s. Expiring this Friday. Average price for these, $10.44. So this, if you're buying these, listeners, you need Meta to get its butt in gear before the end of the week, listeners. These are not cheap options. We'll keep an eye on these, listeners. Are you saying sold to you, or do you have the courage to sell these and then wait the rest of the week? We shall see, listeners. As we keep on rolling to number 4, it's Palantir. They have earnings after the bell today as well. Palantir closing 207.18. They did hit a new all-time high today of 207.52. Closed a little bit off of that. Up nearly 6 3/4 or 3 1/3%. So clearly the street looking forward to the announcement after the bell. Putting up exactly 1 million contracts today, which is kind of wild. The hot option out there, 35,000 of the 205 calls expiring this week. Average price for these, $10.40. So obviously some folks looking for some hot action in Palantir after the bell. Let's see if they're getting it. Well, you know what? There was a brief blip immediately after the closing bell up to, looks like about 218. So they were looking better. And then it came right back down again. So these are after hours prints. So take them with a big grain of salt. That could have been just a small stock print there, and that was about it. Looks like the stock is kind of hovering right around unched right now. So maybe the news hasn't made it out yet. Maybe the call isn't done, or maybe the market's just not that impressed. Either way, we'll keep an eye on Palantir. Can they pay off these 205s for $10.40? We shall find out as we keep on rolling to number 3. It's the Amazonians, closing today 254 exactly, up 9 3/4 or exactly 4%. They've been on a tear since their earnings, putting up 1.3 million contracts today. The hot option out there, 78,000 of the 260 calls. Average price for these, $2.56. Let's keep rolling to number 2, listeners. It's Tesla. 468 1/3 is where Tesla went out today, putting up nearly 1 3/4 million contracts. The hot option out there in Tesla today, 86,000 of the 470s. Average price for these, $13.13. Before you say that's insane, the stock did get up to 474 today, so that makes those look a little bit better. They were $4 in the money. Still a pretty lofty price, pretty high vol level, nearly 66 vol. So bear that in mind. Can Tesla pay off these calls, or is that more money going to die? As we keep on rolling to the number 1 spot today, it's our old pal, NVIDIA. Getting close to its all-time high again today, but not quite getting there. 211.34 was the high today before closing 206.88. Still up $4.39 or a little over 2% out there today. So a good day for the big dog out there, even if they're coming in a little light on the volume front, right around 2 3/4 million contracts. The hot option out there today, 202,000 of the 210 calls expiring this Friday. Average price, $3.55. That's going to do it for your hot options report for Monday, November 3rd. Remember, check out the free report coming at you, the hot options report. Just like the show, type it into the URL. That will take you to the free report for this show. Kick the tires and light the fires over there at QuikOptions. I think you're going to like what you're going to find. We just scratched the surface of the data that is available there on the show. A whole heck of a lot more. If you like options flow and cutting it up in any different way, thehotoptionsreport.com is the place to go. That's going to do it for us on the network today. Back again tomorrow with some great content for our pro friends. If you want to check it out, theoptionsinsider.com/pro. Then we're back again at the end of the day to wrap it all up. Another episode of the Hot Options Report. Oh, yeah. And stay safe out there, everybody.
You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.